Yes. No way. Oh my God.
Very subtle.
Unbelievable. Oh. And he missed it. Oh my God. Ooh la la.
Boom, no chance.
That's crazy. Game, set, and match. This is too much.
So first of all, you need some equipment for that match. You need some fluids, you need some food. It's probably not going to be a short match. Every time those two guys play against each other, it's going extremely long. First of all, because of their game style, both of them, they like long rallies. And second of all, because it's always extremely close and they go all the way. The first encounter was at the Australian Open last year, and Tien won it in 5 sets after a crazy long match, and then they played each other 2 times during the Asian swing, and both times he went 3 sets. Both times Daniil Medvedev cramped, and they won 1 match each. So Lerner definitely has the keys to beat Daniil, but it's never an easy match, and Daniil can definitely make it. Probably even more today, because last year was a tough year for him, and he ended up the season playing well, back again to a very good level. So I think he's a better player today than he was 1 year ago, because he was a bit lost 1 year ago. Actually, not totally lost, but far from his previous level, and I think he's closer now to his better level. We have a few key points for that match. Interesting, because again, they played each other 3 times last year, so we have a lot of information. And here's the first key fact, which is the physical. As I said, it's every time long matches. Last year, the Australian Open, they played 4 hours, 48 minutes, almost 5 hours, 19 breaks of serve, and both players covered 6,000 meters, which is a lot, because we're not talking about jogging. We're talking about really running side to side. Those guys, again, play long rallies and hurt each other a lot. So let's get ready for a long match, as I said. But the physical aspect will be important. Good thing for Medvedev. The temperature today is really not excessive like it was yesterday. Otherwise, considering that Medvedev cramped twice in 3 sets only against Tien lately, that would have been a big hurdle for him to have extreme heat conditions. It's not going to be the case, but still, we expect a very physical matches, and the physical aspect will count for sure. The second key fact is the serve and the return integrity. So which ones of the two is going to crack, if one will? Tien in their previous matches has served 72% of first serves. Has won 72% of first serves. Medvedev 75%, so very close. But you have to know that both players get 13 more first serves return in play than the tour norm, and combined, they have only missed 25 out of 257 second serve returns, which shows how consistent those guys are. They're incredibly consistent, and also consistent in returning. Actually, the match just started with a good start from Tien, love 30 on Medvedev's serve. Okay, and then we have a third page with some other stats. Here it is, which is the key fact number 3. And we spoke about it just a few minutes ago, the rally length and decisiveness. Will the longer rally, and most probably, will they be as important as last year at the Australian Open? I always insist on that in tennis with the pros. The 0 to 4 shots long, it represents between 70 and 80% of the points in general. But when those two guys play against each other, it's only 48% of the points, which means that as they're able to return a lot of balls in, and they love to play long rallies, both of them, 48% of the rallies were over 4 shots. Medvedev won 56% of the short rallies. Tien won 57% of the longer ones. That made the difference. Because most of the rallies were long. So The serve of Medvedev will be very important because that's a key for him to win short rallies, and he will have to find probably some tactical solutions to win more of the long rallies. And actually, we're having one very long rally at the moment where Medvedev is running everywhere, and Tien just broke with a forehand winner. And we just have seen in that game the qualities of this young player that you have to remember is one of the guys who potentially will be the future of the game. He's only 20 years old. He's playing an amazing level. His ranking is already extremely good for someone who's that young. He's one of the guys that we don't speak about that much. Actually, I do. He's 29 in the world. We speak a lot about Fonseca. We don't speak so much about Tien. We don't speak so much about Mensik. And I think those two guys with Fonseca are the future of our game. Just to say how much I think Tien is a great player. American, another one. A lot of great American players in the making. One game to love. The win predictor is very balanced, even though there is a little bit more in favor of Medvedev. Probably because the head-to-head are in favor of Tien, but probably because Medvedev is playing much better at the moment, back to a very good level. What I want to say about Tien that really impresses me, and I say it every time I speak about him, it's his calm in every situation, and he always plays right, whatever the score is. And it's like a 35 years old with 20 years of experience on tour in the body of a 20 years old. That's crazy. And actually, I think he does this way better than most of the 35 years old on tour. It's really impressive on that. I think he's also a player who does everything well. I would say a game a little bit similar to Medvedev because he's a counterpuncher. He moves extremely well. He plays extremely smart, but I would say he might be a little bit more aggressive, and he's a lefty, so it's also an advantage. And amazing the way he opened the court and then took time away, moving inside the court, taking the ball early and playing behind Daniil Medvedev for a forehand inside-out winner. 40-15, and I see Daniil already looking at his box, looking a little bit frustrated already, and it's only the second game of this match. But Daniil definitely fears his opponent. He knows how tough it is to play against him. Just before we deep dive even more in that match, I just want to tell you that so far Zverev is winning quite comfortably against Cerundolo. He was up 6-2, 5-2, now 6-2, 5-3. Zverev just got broken back, but he has 2 breaks. Just want to inform you also that during the night, the night in Europe, during the day in Australia, Carlos Alcaraz beat Tommy Paul in 3 sets quite comfortably. And on the women's side, that Coco Gauff beat Karolina Mukova in 3 sets, 6-3 in the third. That was a very good match, a very good level on both sides. And it was a difficult match, but she made it. 2 more matches to go today. One at the moment, Zverev against Cerundolo, and in now around 30 minutes. And we're going to also look at it, of course, the last match of the day that everybody is looking forward to because it involves an Australian player. The match between Bublik and de Minaur. And the winner of this match will play against Alcaraz next round. The winner of Medvedev versus Tien will play against the winner of between Zverev and Cerundolo. And this is the top part of the draw. Amazing again from Tien, forehand with a lot of angle to open the court, and second forehand down the line winner. And for the moment, the American is dominating and a bit torturing Daniil, who's most of the time has to defend. Morning, everyone. Thank you for being here, following those matches with me. Ooh, that backhand down the line from Tien was close, but out. Medvedev playing really on the lines. The Russian has to take back control of the match because so far he's really dominated from the baseline. Tien being more aggressive than him, and that's great. He just took his backhand early down the line, Daniil Medvedev, and he has the opportunity to win his first game in that match, 40-30. He was 15-30 down, so good reaction. And set point for Zverev on the Margaret Court Arena. An ace for Daniil Medvedev, and the Russian wins his service game. Tien is talking to the chair umpire, I think. I don't know what he's saying. The American started the match better with more intention. Medvedev wanted to rally, the way he likes it, at a pace that is comfortable for him. And Tien decided to raise the pace of the rallies, taking the balls earlier and accelerating more, and he definitely was the one dictating in the first three games, except the end of the third game where Daniil Medvedev reacted to it. What's happening? I think Tien has a problem. He asked for. It looks like he's bleeding from the nose. Unfortunately, they switched to a big angle camera on the whole stadium, so we don't really see anymore. But yeah, he does. He put something in his nose. Yeah, he's definitely bleeding from the nose. Can be a little bit handicapping him because it will affect the way he breathes. He breathes from the nose. This is really rare. I don't remember seeing that during a tennis match. And Bublik and Dominor are currently starting their warm-up for the match. And as always, and I've always been struck by that because, Dominor is one of the most explosive players with the lower part of the body. His movement is crazy fast. And every time I see him warming up, everything he does is crazy slow. We saw him biking. He's biking almost walking in terms of speed. And for someone who's so explosive to warm up like this always looked strange to me. Tien gets some extra time because of his bleeding nose problem. And at the moment, Cerundolo saved his service game to force Zverev to serve for the set. 15-love. We see on the screen actually the three last fourth round matches of the top of the draw that will be starting for Bublik Dominor in 20 minutes, but two others are on. For the moment, it's really strange because we expected Cerundolo to be a bigger threat to Zverev. He beat him many times, but so far it was really one-sided. It was like, believe me, when you see 6-2, 5-2 up, you think, wow, it's one-sided. But now Cerundolo found a way to break back at least once, but still, it's a one-way street for the moment for Alexander Zverev. Way too many unforced errors from the Argentinian. So Fritz against Musetti. And in night session, we'll have first Inglis Swiatek and then Mensik Djokovic last match. On Margaret Court Arena, we have Rybakina Mertens first. And right after, day session, Doddery Sinner. And on John Cain Arena, Wang Anisimova. And not before. There's a not before, and then after Shelton against Rude. So that's the program. Okay, so apparently the nose problem of Tien is solved, and the match is restarting. 2-1 for the American, who's gonna serve. He has a break now already, and he's gonna serve now. I don't know, it's not solved yet, sorry. Because Medvedev was just doing shadow tennis. I thought they were coming back on the court. No, he wants to stay warm, so he's moving. Yeah, now it's solved. Takes a lot of time away from Medvedev and also finds great angles like what he just did with his slice serve. Medvedev was 2 to 3 meters out on the side to return that serve. I'm sure Medvedev will adjust. Just one rally, hitting everything on the backhand of Tien. Yeah, because when you change direction against the American is really dangerous. And he finds unbelievable angles. Medvedev is way closer than usual to return the serves of Tien. And Tien wins his service game after another very long rally. Tien was moved a lot by Medvedev. And finally a defensive shot with a lot of slice backhand, deep, pushed Medvedev to make an unforced error. I have a question from Stefaru, who's saying that Alcaraz just changed his coach and that in Germany there are discussions about Zverev, saying that Zverev should change coach. So the question is, when should a player change a coach for good? First of all, you never know if you're going to change for good or for worse. I'm saying that when things are not working well for you. First of all, you don't change a coach when everything goes well. It's about the results. The point of having a coach is to help you perform better and to help you use your potential fully. So if you feel you're using your potential fully or on the way to improving, doing well, that's the last thing you should do is change coach. I think a lot of players change coach too easily here and there. On the women's tour, there was a statistic, I don't know if it's still true, but a few years ago, the average time that a player would keep a coach on tour, I'm talking about women again, was 6 months. Making coaches responsible for everything, and whenever they were losing 2 matches, boom, changing coach. A coach is here to maximize your results. So there are short-term and long-term results, and both are important because short-term results have consequences in terms of confidence, and if you're losing too much, you're losing confidence, and these losses brings other losses, and etc. It can be, you can get into a vicious cycle very fast, but the most important probably is the development of the player, and to have a long-term approach, also knowing exactly how you see your player playing the future and help the player developing what it takes to become top. So yeah, people were surprised that Alcaraz changed coach, but I don't think he wanted to change coach. I think there were some disagreements that made this option the only one possible, but it's not Alcaraz who woke up one day and said, I want to change coach. Yeah, so then when you see the results are really bad and the trust is not here anymore, because it's very important that players trust their coach. If they don't trust their coach anymore, it's not going to work. So that's probably a moment to change. You can go through tough moments and still trust your coach, and you can go through tough moments and lose trust in your coach. Some players are losing trust faster and more easily than others, and some coaches are able to maintain the trust of their player even in tough moments. But the longer you keep your coach, in general, the better it is, because it's like building a house. If you change the people all the time, you change the project. It's most of the time it doesn't work. You have examples of players like Raducanu, who changed coach so many times since she won the US Open, and you see how much she's struggling to come back to a good level. I'm not even talking about the level she had when she won the US Open. I'm talking about even a good level, a solid top 20 level. She doesn't have that yet, and now it's been a long time since she changed her coach. Yeah, and I have a question from Sven, who asks me if I'm open for coaching and touring again. The answer is no, not for the moment, not for a little while. For personal reasons, I chose to step away from the tour at the moment, so I'm not available. 3-2 up for Tien in that first set with a break, and he's serving 15 love. Backhand mistake on the return from Medvedev. The statistics really tell the story of that match quite well so far. Many more winners for Tien, 7-2 in the start of this match, and more unforced errors for Daniil, not so many more, but still 6-4. What about the serves? Forehand winner for Tien. 64% of points won after his first serve, so 67 now. For Tien, 69 for Daniil, and this is what impacts the most is the second serve, because Tien has 80% of points won after his second, and Medvedev, sorry, 0 out of 4. And another backhand mistake from the Russian, 4-2 for the American player in that first set. That is really one-sided for the moment. Again, Medvedev under the pressure of a young American player that really dominates, dictates most of the rallies. Medvedev, who starts with an ace. Oh, no. Too good. Tien at the moment, too good in terms of shot selection. Amazing in shot selection. He started with a very deep return where he took the advantage and then attacks. And when Medvedev moves back, he drops shots. And now amazing defense from the American, who wins the point again, 15-30 on Medvedev's serve. Oh, 30-all. Yeah, when I'm talking about shot selection, what I mean is there are several options every time you hit a ball. You can go cross, you can go down the line, you can go high, you can go low, you can go short, you can go deep, you can go flat, you can go with spin, you can go with a slice, sorry. That's so many choices. And some guys are really great at choosing the right shot. There is never one good shot. There are several options which are good. There are always some that are better than others. And in the case of Tien, I feel that he always chooses, not always, but most of the time, the best one. What is the best one? Is the one that hurts the most the opponent. And it's the one also that has the highest percentage of making the shot and making the shot that hurts the most. How do you have a good or a great shot selection? A few criteria. First of all, your tennis IQ. You understand what's the best. Height, depth, spin. It's your tennis IQ. Understanding of your opponent's strength and weaknesses also, which is more general. But then every rally you have to make options. Like, I played 3 times cross. So the fourth time you will expect it, and that's the moment I'm going to change direction, for example. Why Lerner is so good at it? First, because of his tennis IQ, clearly. The second thing is his calmness. When you're calm, you take better decisions than when you are really excited, overexcited, or stressed. So that's why I'm saying that this player deals incredibly well with the emotions, and that's one of his biggest assets. But again, I'm impressed by this player. So young and so amazing in terms of shot selection. He's serving now to confirm his break at 4-3 in the second set. I give you one example here. Medvedev loves cross-court rallies. He can stay forever. For example, when he plays backhand to backhand, he can stay there forever. He's not missing, he's comfortable, and he likes to be the one changing direction when he wants. And what Tien is doing so far in the match, he goes down the line every time or almost every time before Medvedev. And he changes direction very often to avoid Medvedev being comfortable playing his backhand cross-court rally, which is the base of his tennis. Another backhand mistake. And I think for the moment, Medvedev doesn't have the rhythm because he didn't give him the rhythm he likes with a lot of cross-court rallies, which is very smart. Yeah, another thing that Tien does very well, which helps also the shot selection, is to have an idea of where your opponent stands every second. You have to focus on the ball when you play, but your peripheric sight can help you focus on the ball, but also see what's around and see the movement in the back of the opponent. And I think he does this incredibly well. And most of the top players do that well. And the great thing with it is that when the opponent, for example, moves back and you see it, even though you're looking at the ball, you can drop shots at the right time. When you see a movement to the left, you can play to the right because you see an anticipation from your opponent. That's also helping a lot the shot selection. But if I had to name one thing that helps the most Tien's good shot selection, besides, of course, his tennis IQ, it's the fact that he deals with his emotions extremely well during a match. A lot more cross-court rally on that last point for Tien, who played 4 or 5 times on Medvedev backhand, who replied 4 or 5 times cross-court. Tien ended up being the one missing, and Medvedev is back to deuce for the first time on a Tien service game. Very good serve from the American and a drop shot. Ooh, that's a big mistake from Medvedev because he was on the drop shot, but he's also forcing that shot because he knows that Tien is so fast that he needs to go closer to the lines, and he goes too close to the lines. And Tien made his game with a slice out wide, the lefty slice again. That for the moment, Daniil is a bit struggling to return in the court. We said in the presentation of this match that both Tien and Medvedev were amazing at returning a lot of serves back in play. But Daniil is struggling a little bit. Oh, that's a big double fault. So far, that makes a difference. What a return from the American. Crazy return backhand. Yeah, that was dangerous. Tien, who ran around his backhand, hit forehand down the line. So inside in. But it's always dangerous. He played because Medvedev is so good on the backhand side. And he found a crazy good angle cross court. A good serve and 2 points now for Medvedev to win his service game and come back to 4-5 and push Tien to have to serve for the first set. And this is done after another good serve from Medvedev. And that's the first mental test for Tien, who's going to have to serve for the first set. We'll see. I said he was great at dealing with emotions. He's going to have his first strong emotion soon when he's going to serve for the set, and let's see if he does well or not. And regarding the match between Zverev and Cerundolo on that third set, Cerundolo so far is holding his serve 3-2 up. Zverev serving, but I have a statistic that popped on my phone from my team, which is about the position, the return position of Tien at deuce. When he stays close to the baseline, he wins 50% of the points on the opponent's serve, and that's amazing. On ad, he's pushed really far back, and he wins only 13% of the points on first serve. The tour average is 28, so he's way above on deuce. He's way under on ad. Ooh, double faults. The first one, I think, in that match. Yeah, it's the first one. That brings both players to 30 all. Good first serve and a free point for Tien. That gives him his first set point. We're talking about the ups and downs in the matches, and Tien is one of those guys who's really incredibly consistent. As he's able to deal well with his emotion, there is way less ups and downs than for many other players. Incredible return from Medvedev, but Tien was there. What an angle. Wow, it's so good from Tien. I'm impressed. A few forehands cross with Medvedev's backhand, and suddenly he finds this amazing short cross forehand to really push Daniil out of the court, and then a forehand down the line with a bit of banana shot with a ball that moves around and comes in at the end. You know, amazing the way he closed this set. There's just a confirmation of how solid he is mentally. When it comes to the big moment, for 1-0 for Medvedev. The statistic was about today and not throughout the tournament. Probably will adjust his position on first serve on that side. Tien on the second set, again, is winning only 13% of the points after the first serve of Medvedev on the ad side and 50% on the deuce side. Why? Because he's closer to return on the deuce than on ad. Learner Tien broke straight away Medvedev in the second set. So 6-4, 1-0 already. Break for the American, who plays a perfect match so far. This is the percentage of returns in play. The tour average is 65, and so far in that match, Tien returns 84% of Medvedev's first serves in play, which is an amazing figure, especially against Medvedev, who's really one of the very good servers on tour. And he also serves well, dominates the rallies, being the most aggressive of the two players, the more aggressive of the two. And with a lot of authority, Tien is now 2-0 up in the second set after winning the first. I said that Medvedev is a better player today than he was 1 year ago at the Australian Open because he's back to a level that is way better than 1 year ago. But I think learner Tien is progressing so fast that it is also a much better player than 1 year ago. And I think he might have improved more than Daniil in the last year. An ace for the Russian. Daniil, who doesn't have the solution for the moment. He makes a little bit too many unforced errors, but on the other hand, he's really pushed hard by Tien, both tactically and in terms of level of play and intention of play. Medvedev is really rushed, and it's rare that a player is able to rush him that much. But this is because of the position on the court of Tien, really close to the baseline and moving up every time he can. Medvedev a little bit lost at the moment, just hit a double fault, trying to serve and volley on second serve. He doesn't really know what to do. He doesn't have much solutions. 30-all on his serve. And an ace, second ace of the game. He needs his serve. If he wants to have a chance to break back, he needs first to hold his serves. And at the moment, that's really a difficult thing to do for him. Oh my God. A passing shot down the line with a slice backhand winner. That's quite a rare shot. And I have another very interesting data from my team that comes up to explain also the dominance of Tien in that match. Ooh, incredible volley from Medvedev. So we talked about the first serve, the ability of Tien to return so many first serves in play. And this one is about the second serve, and Medvedev is winning only 25% of the points on his second serve so far. Tien 64. The tour average is 51. Why so? Because when Daniil doesn't start the rally with a big advantage, is losing most of them because Tien is really dominant in the rallies, taking the balls way earlier, playing a lot down the line, and that pushes Medvedev to do that kind of mistake that he just did. He hit almost two first serves and did a double fault. He decides to come to the net way more. Another time at the net and another point one for Medvedev, and 3 match points for Zverev against Cerundolo at the moment. 6-2, 6-4, 5-4. Wow. Medvedev on the edge at the moment. And the match between Bublik and de Minaur has started. 2-1 de Minaur. Bublik serving, no break. Medvedev a little bit in panic mode at the moment. Coming to the net, serve and volley on second, a double fault hitting 2 first serves. Drop shot, not at the right moment. He really doesn't know what to do. Wow. And Tien again returns the first serve of Medvedev on the line, pushing Medvedev to miss this forehand. As I said, the American is super calm, super in control, being 20 years old, and Medvedev, with all his experience, is a bit in panic. Also due to the fact that he's dominated that much. Half volley. Wow. And break again. He served and volley again, but got passed by Tien, who's now up 3-love with 2 breaks. And Medvedev is turning to his box saying, I can't do anything. There's nothing I can do. That's why he's, as I said, a bit panicking, serve and volley, 2 first serves, drop shots. You know, if he's playing a regular game, he feels there is nothing he can do. I'm going to switch now that the match between Zverev and Cerundolo is over. And I have to tell you, by the way, that the winner of this match will take the winner of Medvedev versus Tien. So Zverev will play the winner of Medvedev and Tien. I'm going to switch to the Bublik Dominor match that has started. 3-0, and Tien is serving again. Oh my god, so good. Now an incredible slice serve. I don't think Tien can play any better than that. Winning 74% of his first serves. Medvedev only 63, which is extremely low for him. And definitely Medvedev showing sign of there's nothing I can do. Hi Linda. And regarding the Bublik Dominor match, even though Bublik improved incredibly and is so dangerous and so confident at the moment, I still think Dominor will find a way to make this one. 4-0 for Tien against Medvedev in that second set. Oh my god. Forehand down the line winner on the run for Tien. That's really impressive. That's really impressive, as I said. But you know, he's running to the side and he's running parallel to the baseline. And now Medvedev hitting a underarm serve and get crushed by Tien. One of the thing that Tien does so well is that forehand, lefty forehand, where he finds great angle and really stretches Medvedev so far out of the court, so that he has the forehand down the line after that with an open court. 15-30 on Medvedev's serve. One of the very few unforced error from Tien here. 30-all is going to be a second serve from Medvedev. And he went full. An ace on second. Medvedev winning only 29% of points on his second serve because, again, in the rallies, he's very dominated. Back to deuce. And only 59% on first serve for Medvedev. It's really, really low. Tien, 74% on first serve and 69 on second. That's huge. And another forehand mistake for Medvedev, who has to face another break point. That would be the third break of the set. And that would give a 5-0 lead in that set to Tien. Oof, lucky shot from Medvedev. But he still loses the point. And 6-4, 5-0 for Tien. That's really surprising. We expected a really close match between those two guys. But, you know, so far, there is not much Medvedev can do because of the quality of the tennis produced by Tien, which is really unbelievable. On the other match between Dominor and Bublik, no break for the moment. Yeah, Bublik, who has a very unusual and unpredictable game. Huge serve, very good volleys, unbelievable drop shot. But this match being held in Australia against a Dominor who plays better and better match after match, I think I give a little edge to the Australian. And the demonstration continues. The demolition or the demonstration, whatever you want to call it, of Tien. That makes Medvedev laugh and talk to his team saying, what do you want me to do, guys? And he decided to try something else, playing flat. He was pushing the ball. And even though he was doing that, he was getting literally destroyed. 30 love. Now Medvedev is trying something else. Playing everything down the middle. Oh, maybe for the first time in the match, Tien chooses the wrong side, coming to the net and plays on Medvedev, who wins the point. Still 30-15 in that game. Very good serve. And now Medvedev walks to his team to talk. And he starts to have the bad body language like this. When he does this, it's because he's really upset. I mean, I understand the frustration playing someone who plays such a high level that you feel there's nothing you can do. It's extremely difficult mentally. But there is something you can always keep in mind. This guy cannot play 3 sets in a row at that level. It's just, and if he does, then probably he plays number one in the world today. And I'm okay to lose. Too good. And too good. Second set for Tien, 6-4, 6-love. I'm really looking forward to the third set to see if Lerner is able to keep that level 3 sets in a row, and if he's going to send Daniil back home, or if at some point he's going to start to slow down a little bit and Daniil will be there to, take his chance. Daniil is already struggling on his serve in the first game of the third set, 6-4, 6-love for Tien. Huge domination from the American, who plays just a perfect match so far. And Daniil really lost, but it's understandable if you look at the quality of the game of Tien, who's talking nonstop to his box. As to face a breakpoint already in the first game of the third set, that's crazy to see that someone like Daniil so far struggles so much to win his own service game. And it's done with a double fault. 7 games in a row, actually more than that, because I don't remember. Oh no, so it's he served at 5-4 in the first set, so it's 8 games in a row for the American, who's up a break already in the third set. He took a really big option for the win already, and 4-all between Bublik and Dominor. Bublik, who's playing the match that we could expect from him. He doesn't have a lot of experience in the Grand Slams. He never played well except in Roland Garros last year. And now that he's top 10, he probably, I don't know if he feels he has to perform better, because I don't feel he puts a lot of pressure on himself, but he does perform way better. Statistic now of the winners between those two players, 25 for Tien, only 11 for Medvedev, who's more and more lost in that match. 30-love. One good forehand from Medvedev that pushes Tien to make a mistake. Still 30-15 for Tien. Is he going to serve a slice again out wide? Lefty slice? No, he serves to the body. It's a very smart change. And he gets a free point. 40-15. Another good serve. But the serve touched the net, so it's going to be another one. Another first serve. And an ace. That's unbelievable. 2-0 Tien. 6-4, 6-love, 2-love, 9 games in a row for the American. And Medvedev shows, makes a face to his team showing, what the hell? What is this? How is it possible to play like this? I don't think this ever happened in the career of Medvedev, to feel that he has no option that much. And of course, he misses a drop shot because he feels he needs to play this close to the net, this close to the line to hit a winner. Another enforced error from Medvedev, who won only 2 points out of the last 10. Too good again. Too good again, and too clear in his head, Tien, when he makes choices again. And I was talking about the view and the peripheral view. He has a very clear peripheral view, Tien. He knows exactly not only where Medvedev is standing while he's hitting the ball, but also where he's moving, in which direction he's moving. So when Medvedev moves to the left, he plays to the right. When he moves back, he plays front. He plays short. He's playing so clearly. That's really unbelievable. 2 more break points to win for Lerner to win his 10th game in a row. You almost never see this in professional tennis, such a domination. And we're talking about Medvedev. Oh my God. And now a drop shot. Unreal from Tien. You know, you don't see that kind of a domination. I always say that at the high level, you win the match on a few points here and there. How you convert the break points, how you saved the break points against you. And at the end, there is not such a difference in terms of number of points won. Definitely, this match is way different because Tien is dominating so much. This slow motion is amazing. It shows how much Medvedev was moving to the right while in defense, while Tien played a drop shot down the line. And of course, to be able to stop and change direction to the opposite direction is something very difficult. So yeah, 6-4, 6-love, 3-love for Tien, who won in 10 games in a row. And I'm scared to look at the stats. Stats from the, so probably set 2. Tien won 6-0. You see that Medvedev is dominated almost the same, even more in short rallies, but short rallies, medium rallies, long rallies, 69%, 64 and 66. So Tien is dominating all kind of rallies, whether they're short or long. 13 winners, only 1 on first error, and he won 100% of the points on Medvedev's second serves. That's crazy statistics. And you see that Tien doesn't even get overexcited. He's still playing the same tempo, not trying to play faster, to tell you how much, again, how well he deals with the emotions, whether he wins, whether he loses, whether, you know, he has to face a break point or he has an opportunity. And while we were talking, Dominor won the first set against Bublik 6-4. Did I see well? Yeah, 6-4. Let's answer some of your questions. So from Shoki SVW, do you think Shelton can beat Sinner and if he advances to the quarterfinals? Just want to see this rally. Oh my God, such a good defensive shot, man. Counterpunch shot from Tien, that's unreal. Against Pizziri, it did not seem impressive, and Shelton did not lose a single set. Do I think he can beat Sinner? I think the chances of Sinner winning the match is way higher than the ones of Shelton beating him. Yeah, and Shelton first has to win his match. He's gonna face Rude. Of course, also Sinner has to beat Darderi. I think the match against Pizziri was a special match because I think that Sinner was not playing well at all in that special match. This happens sometimes. He said he didn't sleep well, which I believe. And you know, you might have on the way to a Grand Slam win, have one day or two like this. If Sinner plays at his best, I think is for the moment too good for Shelton, and actually 90-something% of the players, if not to say everybody except Alcaraz, which is what I believe. So no, I don't think Shelton has a lot of chances, and I think he will have to play the perfect match and have a Sinner that doesn't play his best, which I think he will because he knows how good is Shelton and he knows he cannot afford to not to play his best. So that's my opinion. Now, question from Cédric Rouquette. As every people having watched tennis in the 80s and 90s, this Tien reminds me the craziest days of Henri Lecomte, left creative on fire. I understand what you mean. I mean, quite different games. Henri was playing serve-and-volley and creative for sure. I think that Lerner is way more in control of everything. He's not a player who goes for shots. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's very clear in his mind. I don't think he's overplaying. He's never overplaying. So I would think a lefty, better version of Medvedev with a very clean technique. Oh la 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 la. Medvedev playing with crazy high-risk tennis, but it worked on that point. And Medvedev in a position to potentially win his first service game for a while. It's not there yet, 30-15. I've never seen Daniil so lost, but again, I completely understand. A lot of people would feel lost that way when facing someone who plays that level. And when Yannick Sinner plays that level, everybody thinks, well, it's normal, it's Yannick Sinner. But of course, when it's this young player that, of course, the tour knows already, but I mean, was not playing that level a few months ago, you don't expect it and you're shocked. And I think Medvedev is really under shock. And he has a game point, which is very rare in that match since the second set. Amazing tennis again, amazing backhand down the line. And so calm. He took the time before hitting that last forehand, wanting to see if Medvedev was anticipating one side or the other. Well done for Medvedev, who gets another game point. Serve and volley. And gets passed by Tien. Daniil is definitely not a serve and volley player, so if he does play this way, it's because from the baseline he feels he has no clue today. Deuce, and you see no panic from Tien. Whatever Medvedev does, he feels he has the solution and he stays calm. Another game point for Daniil. And a great backhand down the line from Daniil to win his service game. He's smiling because he just lost 11 games in a row before being able to win his serve, and in a very difficult way. Leonard Tien is putting the bar so high. That's completely insane. And Dominor broke already Bublik in the second set after winning the first. So 6-4 to 2-0 for the Australian already. Stefaru, yes. Michael Cheng coached Kei Nishikori. Medvedev, who's a little bit better. He actually coached Nishikori for more than 10 years, helping him be the first Japanese to reach a Grand Slam final. It's more than that, it's the first Asian man to reach a Grand Slam final at the US Open in 2014. Until 2025, he coached him. And then in 2025, he started coaching Leonard Tien. Love 30 on Tien serve, 15-30 now. Maybe that's a moment when Tien is not playing as well. I'm saying that, and he's hitting an ace down the tee. Having used the slice on the outside, having used the slice so much, he, in a way, pushed Medvedev to move a bit back to his left and opening the tee. And one of the very few mistakes from Tien with the backhand and break point. This didn't happen for a very, very long time for Medvedev in this third set. Ooh, was close to hitting an ace. Tien, very close. Second serve and a mistake, forehand mistake from Tien, and Medvedev broke the American for the first time in this match. You see, a few more mistakes. It was impossible for Tien to play that level for 3 straight sets. It was the first break point of the match and the first break for Daniil. Tien broke 6 times out of 8. It's a 75% rate of success. Serve and volley for Medvedev. Unbelievable defense from Tien. And a forehand miss after that. 30 love. The match starts to be more interesting. And Dominor 3-0 up in the second after winning the first set against Bublik. Good serve from Medvedev. 40 love. Now Tien comes back to being a human. And that's a moment in which the match can potentially switch a little bit. Done. 3 games in a row for Medvedev after Tien won 11 in a row. And only 1 break now for Tien in that third set. 6-4, 6 love, 4-3. And Bublik exposed to a double break in that second set. He has a break point for Dominor, who's up 6-4, 3-0, 30-40 on Bublik's serve. Saved by an ace. And Bublik has a very low, for him, percentage of points won after his first serve, only 64. And this highlights the quality of Dominor, both as in returns, but also in his ability to compete in the rallies. That's important that Daniil doesn't give free points to Tien in that service game. 15 love on a backhand missed by Medvedev. Second serve. A slice forehand missed by Tien. 15 all. Of course, Michael Cheng is showing absolutely zero emotion during the matches of his player, as he was showing zero emotion during his own matches. It was surprising to see him excited or expressive on the bench. Yeah, too good from Tien. Still taking the ball very early. And another of those serves that tortured so much Medvedev, the slice on the outside, throwing Medvedev completely out of the court on the side. And 40-15, a ball for 5-3 in that third set. Back and out from Medvedev, and 5-3 for Tien, who's now one game away from a 3 straight sets win against Medvedev. That would put him in quarterfinals against Zverev. Medvedev serving to stay in that match. Backhand miss, love 15. A bit lucky for Tien. Love 30. Passing shot down the line. And Medvedev, yeah, too static on that volley. And 3 match points for Tien. That would break even one more time Medvedev in that match. 3 match points in a row. And Dominor 4-1, 6-4, 4-1. 2 more match points after this backhand return missed by Tien. Very good serve for Medvedev. Oh my God! What a match point. Medvedev hitting a very hard overhead, and Tien just stayed in the right place and hit the backhand down the line winner passing shot. I mean, what a match from Leonard Tien. Impressive level of play. So, I mean, yes, Medvedev was lost, but I think anyone would be lost when someone is playing that clean, that right, and also that aggressive, and with so much success. There was nothing Medvedev could do today. Yes, he didn't play his best match, but I think that Tien had a lot to do with it. The quality of the tennis of Tien during that match forced Medvedev to make more unforced errors, to push, to take more risks, to do things that he was not used to do because he was just too dominated in the rallies. And, you know, I'm happy with seeing Tien playing that level. First of all, I think he's an amazing player. He's someone that is 20 years old, that nobody talks about. And we're talking about some of the guys a lot, some of the young players. I think he has the potential to be, in the future, you know, the third guy between Alcaraz and Sinner. And nobody saw him really coming. I spoke about him before this tournament, saying that he was someone that we should really look into because of his potential. And the match of today shows how he can play. And of course, he can still make a lot of progress, but he's already at an incredible level at 20 years old. And I think he has the right coaching with Michael Chang besides him. And we'll have to now, I think he's going to get a lot of support. I think he's going to have a lot of people talking well about him. And I think it's really well deserved because this player is amazing. Just to remind you his qualities. First, he's a lefty. Second, he's very athletic. He's moving incredibly well. Third, his calmness on the court brings so much lucidity every time he hits the shot. His shot selection is amazing, and he never panics when it comes to he deals with his emotion incredibly well. That's, you know, gives him the possibility to play at a very high level, even when it counts the most. The frustration doesn't take him much. So, I mean, it's a lot of qualities for one player, and I think we're going to hear a lot about him in the near future. Thank you very much for following those matches with me. We spent a lot of time together again today. I remind you that we still have this Dominor Bublik match that is highly dominated by Dominor so far, who's up 6-4, 5-1 double break in the second set. We know already that Zverev is going to play next round against Tien in the quarterfinals of the top draw. Alcaraz will play against either Bublik or Dominor. And tomorrow we'll have the lower part of the draw and some great matches. Musetti Fritz, Mansik against Djokovic, the revenge of Miami's final last year. Shelton against Rude, and Darderi against Sinner. I'll be there, of course, to commentate the matches. I'll do again one day match and one night match. If you follow me on Twitch, you will get a notification once I'll be online. I hope to see many of you tomorrow. Have a great night for the Australians. Have a great day for the Europeans, and end of the night for all the American continent, whether it's US or South America. I wish you a great time, and I see you very soon. Bye-bye.